Hi, I'm Tika.
And I'm Ella.
And so today we're going to be doing a web chat on common scams and how it's best to avoid them. So the main goal of scammers is to get payments from you or either steal your data, which ultimately their goal is to steal your identity online.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about a couple that we frequently come across in our line of work, which is, fake domain emails, fake emails about payments, and Facebook competitions. So to kick it off, we'll start with domain scams. So what do these fake domain emails usually look like?
Yeah, so a domain, if you're not sure, is the little URL that you put into your search bar. So for us, one of ours is 1300webpro.com.au. Domain scams, they tell you that your domain's about to expire. Sometimes they're really convincing, and if you didn't know too much about domains, you would be none the wiser that it's a scam. But there's a couple of things to look out for when you get these kinds of emails. So it could come from an organisation you're unfamiliar with. So if you've never heard of this organisation that's sending you an email, it's most likely a scam. So that's one thing to look out for. Another thing is if they're offering you lifetime ownership of a domain, like that's not a thing, so they're obviously scamming you. They could maybe not mention your name, but sometimes they're a bit sophisticated and might know your name. They could have like a very obscure link, or they could be from a very strange email address. So that's just a couple of the things you should look out for when you get these emails.
Yeah, and if you're a little bit unsure when you do get an email like that, the best thing to do is obviously not to click on any of the links that come to you in that email, but just to call your domain registrant and confirm with them about how long it is until your domain expires, and especially if you have domains registered with multiple registrants, to make sure you have a good system in place personally so you can keep track of all the domains. So if you get a renewal notice for one and you renew that one, you don't just ignore all the others as well. You're on top of those renewal processes.
Yeah, so if you don't know who your registrant is, just contact us and we'll be able to tell you. It might be us or it might be another company. We'll be able to tell you who.
So another email scam that we can come across frequently is emails about transactions or payments that you've made. So most commonly these will come from, the fake emails will come from sites like eBay or PayPal, even Amazon. But these are scams. They're not real. They just tend to look very real, which is what the problem is.
And I have a great example is that I shop a lot on Etsy, and I've recently got an email about this transaction I made on Etsy, which is a very convincing email. It looks very, very similar to what a legitimate email from Etsy would be. What tipped me off was firstly the really obscure sender address, so who it was from was a really strange email address, and then also underneath the transaction was a big call to action which was like, if you haven't made this transaction, click here. So their main goal is for you to click on that link, which they'll probably steal some kind of data from you by clicking on there.
And that's definitely one thing that we do not recommend you do. If you're even slightly skeptical about it, don't click any of the links that are associated with that email. And you can call the store directly. They'll have a helpline on their website, or a way that you can send a form and you can check with them, because one of the ways that they tend to snag up their victims is, you might shop frequently on eBay and you've had a really busy month of shopping on eBay, and then they'll send you an email that same month. It might just be by coincidence, but it might trick you into thinking, I've just purchased off that website, so I'll click the link and follow through.
Yeah, they're pretty sophisticated that they can kind of track what kind of things you're searching, so it might be a purchase that you probably could have made maybe at some point, or maybe someone who has your account details could have made, just say, your partner or your friend. So just make sure you don't click the links, and just check with that e-commerce store to make sure it's actually a legitimate purchase. So another really common scam is fake Facebook competitions. So they can seem pretty harmless, but their goal is to take you off-site and get data from you, usually by a survey. So tell us a little bit more about that, Ella.
Yeah, so like some of the big pointers out that you're entering a fake Facebook competition would be large prizes, so trips to Bora Bora or anywhere,
cruise trips.
Cruise trips, or even competitions that offer everyone who enters a prize. So everyone who enters gets $25 off their next shop from whatever it may be, and they tend to be quite legitimate. Like they'll use legitimate names like Flight Centre or Qantas or Aldi for your free gift cards.
Yeah, definitely. And so, like I said before, usually their main goal is to take you off-site to fill out a bit of a survey. That's when they get your details, and that's when that's the really valuable data is taken from that survey. So, and usually when that you're doing the survey, it has a very obscure URL. So even before you start entering your details, you should just be tipped off by the URL that's nothing like what the business name is.
And even from then, you should be tipped off from their Facebook page. I mean, some of the things that will be quite notable is that they won't have many followers or likers. They won't post much about anything else besides the competition they want people to enter in. And you know, they just
sometimes they have like a full stop at the end of the name.
yeah, they'll have odd grammar and spelling, and you know, especially competitions that do involve legitimate ones, Flight Centre and Qantas, they'll go through their spelling and grammar thoroughly to make sure that everything's correct. So if you see some mistakes, it's generally going to be quite fake.
Yeah, definitely. And another key thing is these scam ones don't have any terms and conditions. So to do competitions on Facebook, they have pretty rigorous terms and conditions, especially big businesses like Qantas and Flight Centre and those travel businesses. They'll have pretty rigorous terms and conditions. So if they don't have it, then you probably might be entering a scam. So, so if you do come across any competition that does show some of these characteristics, but maybe not all of them, it might still be a legitimate competition. That just they may not have, you know, dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. But it's worth looking into. But if you know the competition, you know, ticks a lot of these boxes, and it's most likely a scam, you probably should look a little bit more into it, or just not enter it at all.
So following all those scam examples that we've just given you, we've got some general good tips for security online that will help keep you protected in the future.
Yeah, so we've mentioned a couple of scam emails, but there's plenty of others out there. So just be, you know, vigilant to make sure that you're not clicking any links on any spam emails. And if you're not sure if something's legitimate, it's always good to get a second person's opinion to look at it.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, another good way to keep yourself safe is if you do get stung by one of these emails, it's always great to make sure that you have multiple different passwords for all your different accounts. So if you know you get hacked and they do get one password, they don't have access to all your other passwords. So we tend to use LastPass, keeps random generized passwords stored for us for all our different accounts, so we don't have to remember them, and it keeps us safe online.
Yeah, so hopefully with these tips you can be a bit safer online and keep your data well protected.